The Pod Bay Door, a Las Vegas podcast.
I actually had him ask me this, and it was a travel agent, because that's a long ago. If the top of the show, what meant that they opened the roof.
Flamingo, apparently, they're taking credit for the first pool party, post-virus pool party. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of problems with that title. We're not post-virus.
It's along the same lines of secondhand smoke. It was okay for people to smoke in restaurants and blow smoke at you as long as they thought, well, this only hurts me.
Right.
And then nobody cared. That's why what really helped the laws change was, in fact, where it went from, okay, well, we're going to have a non-smoking section. How's that? And you're going to have a table over there by the kitchen. That's where the non-smoking is. And then even when it got to the point where most people didn't smoke, depends on where you're at, but where most people didn't smoke, they still had it like that. And then they kind of changed it then. So, okay, well, we'll have the smoking section and it's over there.
Right, yeah.
Okay, but then it went from, you can't smoke at all. Go out in the parking lot and in your car, because of the fact that the secondhand smoke could hurt other people that you don't have a right to hurt them. So it's the same thing with the virus. If you didn't want to wear a mask, because if the mask protected you from getting it and you don't believe it's there,
right.
You know, again, as I've said this before about opinions. Yeah, everyone's entitled to opinion, but not all opinions are valid.
True.
You know, I mean, so you can believe the Earth is flat, and there's no evidence to support that. You can bring it up what you want, or how old it is. Well, the Bible says, I don't care what the Bible says.
Yeah.
The science tells you it's not, and it's the same thing with this. You know, there was a study out of Singapore. Now, we can say, "Oh, well, those are people from Singapore. They're Chinese. They're not here,
right.
Mayor." Right? but they found that the transmission rate goes down 85%.
Yes.
Two things: wearing a mask and physical distancing of at least a meter. So it doesn't have to quite be 6 feet, but the more the better. Yeah. But at least a meter, which is, a little more than 3 feet. Yeah. So if you do that, now if you say, well, I don't care if you believe in it or not. It's true.
Well, if you accept the premise that the virus existed and caused the havoc that it did, then you have to accept the scientific facts of how to keep it down.
Yeah.
And
if everybody did that, really, I mean, theoretically, if nobody left their house for a month and just stayed there, didn't leave for any reason,
right,
it wouldn't be able to spread because there wouldn't be any more hosts for it. Might kill off some people, didn't get any treatment, but
it was a tremendously sneaky virus.
Yes,
or it is.
It is
to the point where we still don't have a vaccine.
Yeah. However, it seems that in Italy, the way the virus they think is evolving, it's becoming less lethal, which is good.
Yes.
Had it gone the other way, it would have been really bad. But the idea is just because things are open, it's the same thing. Somebody goes on a diet, they got to lose 25 pounds. They go on the diet, they lose 18, you're almost there. This doesn't give you the right, I'm going to go splurge this whole weekend. I'm going to eat nothing but junk food and cheesecake, because then you're going back on that scale. And guess what? You gain all that weight back, or you gain a lot of it back.
Right.
You're not there yet. And it doesn't mean that just because things are opening, things are getting better, but if we're not careful, it's going to blow up again.
Right.
Nobody wants that.
No. I'm not a religious person, but I think that if I were to be, this kind of smacks as the higher power kind of snapping us into shape. It's you're standing on your laurels too long.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it to me, it also, it really underscored to me how really this whole society in the U.S., the whole capitalist system is just a fine gossamer thread, because it can come tumbling down, not just from a microbe that nobody can see, but just shutting things down for a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
Just like everything, particularly here, because the first thing that happens when there's something like this is the corporations have to get in line. They're the pigs at the trough. And we already know how many more extra billions of dollars that they got.
Right.
And again, if they sent out that money, because we've got it, if they sent it out $2,000, $3,000, depending on where you live, to everybody, we're going to pay you the money to stay home. If you go out and you're fucking around and you're not wearing a mask, we're not going to send you any money. If they did that,
Right.
hey, I understand.
And
Sure, who wants to go back to work after
yeah,
that?
yeah, but
But
then we'd
maybe
have to
they'll.
have virus police, and
Well,
then that's a
yeah,
whole different
sure,
issue.
sure. But I'm saying though that if people actually did that and weren't worried about their bills for now,
Right.
and if we're giving money to the corporations, well, you have to start thinking about, okay, you use that money to pay the people that you normally pay to do stuff to not do stuff, because there's nobody's working, nobody's in business, whatever. Nobody's flying anywhere.
Right.
So at least you're not the expenditure of keeping your airplanes maintained or fueled or whatever, because they're not going anywhere.
That's true.
You
That's
know?
true. Well, to bring it all back to the place we live and love, it's a house of cards.
Yeah. No, it is.
We're sitting on top of a house of cards, not underneath it.
Yeah.
And I think we found out firsthand. I mean, we are the Las Vegas it's open.
Yeah.
But you have to balance that with the knowledge that it's projected that by mid-June we're going to be at 33% unemployment.
Wow.
1/3 of our people.
Yeah.
And that's tragic.
Yeah.
And now starts, I think we've got the virus and the pandemic situation in hand, and what I mean by that is that our procedurally now everybody at least has a general set of rules, and with those rules in place, as you said, we can keep the virus down, keep the curves flat, if you believe in that type of statistic, and then start addressing the next pandemic, which is our economy, and that's a frightening thing, but I have to say, Las Vegas opening is, I think, for especially for Vegas and Nevada, and our mayor, it's a fantastic thing for our nation and our country to see the worst possible area affected by the pandemic to open up and say, all right, let's do this. Now, I think the most important thing we have to make sure that everybody knows listening to the podcast, Dennys is open.
Oh, did they ever close?
Oh, yeah, they closed. Dennys is open.
Well, they're certainly not essential.
They are not essential at all.
Open for white people, you mean, right? That was always their motto
right.
anyway. They're always a racist.
Yeah,
they
but
have a long history of racism.
But the Dennys on Las Vegas Boulevard did open. It's open. It was actually open for people to sit and wait for the casinos to open.
Yeah. So if you don't get sick from COVID-19,
right.
You can get sick at Dennys.
Dennys isn't essential when it's open. Yeah. So, but if there's a little tiny pin on the American flag, it's Dennys, and it's very American to have Dennys open. So I applaud them for opening and having all of their bad food.
See, McDonald's was open during the whole thing, right?
It was. It was.
And really, junk food is essential?
Drive-through. Starbucks was drive-through.
That would have been all right.
Not in the beginning, of course. In the beginning, we didn't know.
Well, I was a little bit annoyed or disturbed, I should say. They opened the hotels midnight.
Yeah.
People were coming in, some wearing masks, some not, and it's fine. The employees there are wearing masks. But I saw, some video taken in casinos. There's a blackjack table, and the casinos are full of shit. They had said, we're going to have social distancing, and you can actually enforce that at your tables by saying nobody sit here.
Yes.
So that you're apart. No, they didn't have that. I saw people that were sitting too close together.
Yeah. No.
And it's just like it's your greed is saying, okay, well, no, hey, you can't play right now. We only have room for 2 people.
Yeah. A bit later, I have a little checklist that the casinos went through that came, of course, from the Nevada Gaming Authority.
Yeah.
And they're trying their best. The Gaming Authority, isn't used to this type of authority.
Yeah.
So they did their best. But no, I agree. I've seen it myself. You and I have both taken drives on Las Vegas Boulevard. We'll talk about that. And I've seen some slot banks, slot carousels, however you know them, that have been properly configured. I have seen some that are not.
Yeah.
However, I did not see the crowds to push the problem.
No, they weren't there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they were saying that, at least they showed downtown,
right.
And it looked, there were some people moving about, but it seemed enough.
Downtown is going to suffer for still a while.
Yeah.
But it always does. It always does. But I titled this "Las Vegas is open, now what?"
Yeah.
See, people don't understand. People want to come, and we want them to come. They're dying to do whatever they love here: eat, gamble, see shows, walk around, see the fountains. The Bellagio Fountains are now live, which is
Good.
exciting. It's fantastic, and a whole new rack of music, which is great. I got a little tired of Andrea Bocelli, but it's very Americana there with the Bellagio Fountains of all things. But people don't, quite know what to do because Las Vegas is forever changed. So, but a little list here. I want to ask you, John. We're not going to talk about it too much. We talked a little bit about the protests in the pre-show. Honestly, it's an uncomfortable subject, and I think the people that are protesting and the people that are trying to deal with the protesters and the people that are protesting against the protesters, that's their bailiwick. I hope we can remain safe with that. And I hope the business owners and everybody involved, both citizen and police, can stay safe. And that's all I'll say about it. But I want to ask you, John, do you think that the protests, which are still going on, they've lost a lot of steam here in Vegas, which they should. Do you think it affected the initial foot traffic that is being explained in the news as a lot of foot traffic? It's not. It's not. I want to be honest. It's not.
I mean, I don't think so either. They had one of the original protests. I think it was Saturday, and they did it on the Strip, and it was an ideal time for them to have it on the Strip because nobody was there.
Yes.
And they had the pretty much the run of the place, right? I mean, they go to do it in this. Now there were quite a few cars because I drove on the Strip on Saturday.
Yeah,
and there were quite a few cars mostly because of road construction had traffic down. As you know, if you drive on there, there's usually 2 or 3 lanes in each direction. They had it down to one.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was that, but it wouldn't have affected anybody any more than we've had strikes before, which is a form of protest, and that would keep business away. But no, I don't think that did. And yeah, and the other nice thing was, when I saw a lot of the protesters were wearing masks.
Yeah,
and part of it is to cover their identity too, but it served 2 functions.
Right. Yeah, it was an awkward time. There were masks for the virus and masks for this and masks for that. Of course, the casino, the bosses, they made the right decision. They delayed their openings. I know they were chomping at the bit, and they probably could have just.
MGM still isn't open.
No, well, not really. No, I know. I mentioned the acting chief, Hornbuckle, Bill Hornbuckle.
That's right, because while we were on hiatus here, MGM was sold, and didn't it just get sold while we were gone? I know it's no longer owned by MGM. So.
Bill Hornbuckle, correct. That's correct. Is the acting CEO, and he's coming up later in the show. But no, I agree. I think the foot traffic wasn't affected. I think there was probably some trepidation. It may have stopped some of our locals from going to experience the casinos for the first time. And maybe they waited a day, maybe they waited 2 days. But no, I don't think it did. Now the foot traffic, Las Vegas is very good. We've talked about the marketing machine that is Vegas. And if there are deaths, if there are problems, if there are pandemics and protests, our news cycles are very good about putting out great news, and good for them. They've always been. There's way more suicides here than people realize, and very public suicides. But the foot traffic was not great. It was okay.
Yeah.
People ventured out. I have some here. Let's see.
I think I heard that the hotels some of them were 35%.
35% max, yeah. And that's what Hornbuckle said too. He was between 30 and 35%. The projected numbers of the people that showed up. This is the projection from the gaming authority. 20% out of state. 5% foreign. Which is I'm not quite sure how to break that down, but 5% foreign.
And it could be Mexico, it could be Canada, right?
Exactly.
It could be foreign.
From Canada.
There you go.
65% local. Makes sense. Yeah. And then 10% unidentified. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I don't find that to be.
When you go to a place like Disneyland, I'm not saying this, we've already had this discussion that this is not Disneyland, but any place that's popular, a tourist attraction, which Las Vegas is.
Right.
One of the things you say, well, what sucks about it is the crowds.
Yeah.
You go there and it would be nice. And you say, it was great. I had a great time at Disneyland because there was no kids there. Everyone was in school or whatever.
Right.
Now's a good time to come. If you're thinking about it and you're willing to, hey, just keep your wits about you.
Yeah.
There's not as crowded here. And people who have, I used to look at Yelp and things. People would complain about Mandalay Bay. I thought I'd have the pool all to myself. Right. Really? Did you really think that even on a Monday in the summer?
Yeah.
You've got thousands of rooms. Mandalay Bay had 4,500 before they added on, right? Yeah. And there's going to be a percentage of those people going to be at the pool.
Right.
And with 4,500 rooms, you're looking at probably somewhere around 9,000 people staying there, double occupancy.
Exactly.
So how many of those 9,000 people do you think are going to be at the pool? Even if it's just, 10% or something, that's a lot of people.
Oh, 8,910.
Yeah.
Pools are an interesting point.
Yeah.
I saw an article in the paper today.
Yeah.
With an attached photograph of the flamingo. The flamingo, apparently, they're taking credit for the first pool party, post-virus pool party. There's a lot of problems with that title. We're not post-virus.
No, exactly.
So either way,
post-lockdown.
Post-lockdown.
Yeah,
almost
so
80 days.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. But post-lockdown flamingo pool party, and the attached picture, which was tagged as being a live picture from the day, were two young ladies, arm in arm. Waving at the camera, drinks in hand, laughing, sunglasses by the pool, bikinis. Unfortunately, to me, it struck me not that they were pretty, not that they were having fun, not that Vegas was open. It was like, well, that's not the point.
Yeah.
That's not the way this is supposed to happen. Now, it was brought to my attention that they could have been sisters. They could have lived together.
Yeah.
They could have been married, or in a relationship that they had already had contact and there was no exposure to worry about.
Yeah.
I accept that.
Yeah.
But is it the picture to show?
No.
It is not.
Particularly, like I said, you wait a few months, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see how the numbers go. But remember, everything is delayed, right?
Yes.
Everything's fine now, but let's wait 2 weeks. And we've seen this in other states where they opened early. And they're seeing a spike in numbers.
Exactly.
So it's again, like I said, it's the analogy I made to the person on a diet. If you go back to the way you were before and you fall off of it, well, you're not there yet.
Yeah.
You're not over or they even tell you that when you take an antibiotics, right? Take the whole thing for the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, and even if the symptoms disappear, the bacteria may still be growing, and it's just not enough to. So take the whole course.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree with your weight analogy. I mean, because fat bastard is waiting for you around the corner.
I gotta tell you, Jamie. I get these emails from Victoria's Secret because I bought stuff there in the past, right?
Yeah.
So normally that's not bad.
Yeah.
Panty sale. I'll look. I'm not gonna. I'll look. Oh,
yeah.
Jesus Christ! They had one.
Oh,
I swear to God, this model. She could have been a lineman for the Green Bay Packers. Jesus, you and I could have both gotten in her panties. I mean, not literally. And there would have been room left over. She was humongous. No. You don't wear stuff like that. Boxer shorts. Lady, put that girl in boxer shorts.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Our world, she is a changing now.
No wonder they're going out of business.
Oh, I'm very sad by that. About that. It's one of the companies that I don't know. I'm just sad about it. Yeah, it's decadent, but
I don't
whatever.
understand. I mean, it seemed every time I've been to one, or go by the mall, it's just crawling with people.
Right.
You're waiting in line there. You have to take a number like it's a butcher shop.
Well, it was the typical overexpansion.
Yeah.
The price points were too high.
Yeah.
I mean, and now price points are way too high, and people aren't shopping at all.
Yeah.
But you brought up a good point. Good transition. We'll go back to Mr. Hornbuckle, acting CEO of MGM. He was talking
not turnbuckle, hornbuckle.
Hornbuckle.
Okay.
Not hornblower. Hornbuckle. And he said exactly what you said. It's a waiting game. 35% of the rooms are going to be open, between 30 and 35, depending on the property. And he said that we're going to wait for that round of people to come and go. Check with them on how we did.
Yeah.
Check with social media on how we're doing, and then we're going to make a decision.
Yeah.
Now that didn't meet obviously he has the support of his corporate office and his board.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not thrilled about that plan.
Yeah.
But I think for once, I think a casino boss is making the right decision.
Yeah.
Now, taking a cue from social media, makes my eye close a little bit, but okay.
Yeah.
But I think it was an excellent statement. It was clear, it was concise, and there was no ambiguity to it.
Yeah.
So I applaud him for that. The numbers, I don't know. When you were driving around, it was pretty deserted still, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I drove on Saturday, so they hadn't opened yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, there were cars. Like I said, they had road construction, so there were some cars. But yeah, you look out on the sidewalk. I saw a homeless guy.
Yeah.
And other than that, there was hardly anybody there. And then when you start driving and you're getting in front of the Venetian and the Mirage, and you're seeing the crossing bridges, and there's nobody there.
Right.
I thought, oh, this is pretty eerie. But what would be really eerie, like out of a movie, was just to see it loaded with dead bodies or something like that, with flies.
Yeah.
No, it was nothing like that. It was, there was just nobody there, and it was just nobody on the bridges. And that seemed kind of weird. Because usually I will avoid driving along Las Vegas Boulevard at all costs.
We do. Oh, absolutely.
Oh God, I don't want to. That's why even now, if I have to go up there for something, usually now I take Lyft.
That's why all of us who work on it know all the shortcuts and the little
and the back
sneaky
roads.
places.
And you go out to
Get to know Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra Drive or Koval when we worked at the Venetian.
Yeah.
Even Koval now is getting pretty bad. So Frank Sinatra.
It is. So the casinos had to adhere to the policies and procedures of the Nevada Gaming Authority, which they always do anyway.
Yeah.
And the authority, I have seen that the temperature check areas, they're the same as I described for my trip to Cancun.
Yeah.
It's a very simple process. There's a lot of technology involved. Very cool. But temperature checks for entry, that's a mandatory thing. EMTs and medical personnel on site, that's a mandatory thing.
Yeah.
And
of course, I mean, I look at that almost like the TSA. It's almost useless, honestly.
Yeah.
Because as we know now, I mean, if this were the flu virus, where you are infectious if you're sick, I mean, if you're having actual symptoms, then that would be effective.
Yeah.
But it's not with this virus. That was so insidious about it, is that in fact you were more likely to pass it on if you weren't showing it. That's evolutionary. It's a smart thing for this virus to be able to do.
Right.
Not kill everybody. I mean, in the books and in the movies, people get infected, they choke and they writhe on the floor and they die within 15 minutes. Oh yeah, that makes for good drama.
Yeah.
But realistically, then everybody who was infected, the virus wouldn't have a chance to replicate, right? It wouldn't have a chance to spread unless it were airborne somehow.
Right.
Because you just killed your host. So that's the only way it can reproduce. So it doesn't want to kill everybody. It just wants to lay around sneaky so it can pass along. And as we've seen, Jesus, this thing spread fast in a hurry everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And even now, things are slowing down. We're here in the U.S., 1,000 people a day are dying from it still, right?
Yes.
I mean, the last time we had a broadcast, we were approaching 100,000.
100,000. We passed
now
that.
we're approaching 110,000.
Yeah.
So
It's not over, and there is no post-virus. There won't be post-virus until we get the inoculations, and we're not going to get those for a long time.
Yeah, or it mutates and evolves into a less severe form, and we
right, and we take it. Yeah. We absorb it. Writhing on the ground. No. None of that.
Writhing in
except
coils.
At the Democratic primary, but
Yes.
Now, interesting thing that I saw that a lot of people maybe wouldn't notice is that one of the rules and regs from the authority, the gaming authority, was masks available for everyone. And the masks that I saw being handed out were standard white masks. And I just thought to myself, for a town, for companies.
The advertising didn't even put their hotel
I know,
logo on it?
they missed a giant branding opportunity.
Jesus, sure did.
Unless those were the initial ones they got. They're going to get rid of those first and then have the MGM lion on them,
I'm surprised they don't have, high roller ones or whatever,
Right.
for the whales that are nicer.
I have a Golden Knights one.
Oh, okay. Well, think about the Venetian colors are gold and black, lot like the Golden Knights.
Uh-huh.
They could have a black mask. I mean, I have a black mask with a gold Venetian on it. People would probably pay money to buy it.
Exactly. So I was very surprised, but I'm sure that it's just an oversight or
it better be. Also, Jesus, maybe those people who decide that. Hell, even I thought of that one.
Right. Now, one thing that I did talk to a couple people that have come. And they were going to utilize non-casino transportation, meaning taxis and ride shares. Very difficult.
Yeah,
very difficult.
Imagine.
Taxis are still no longer able to stage. They and our rules here in Las Vegas, which we've dealt with in other podcasts, they cannot pick up or drop off on the street still.
Yeah.
So it makes it very difficult. I mean, it's sort of a rolling get out of the car. There is no staging. Rideshare, they are still completely backed off from most properties. They are loosening that, but rideshares can drop off. They have more flexibility for drop off than taxis, but having a great deal of trouble. So Transpo is a real wild card out there for us. Yeah.
Now, I had seen in an airport, I think probably Singapore, because they have a great airport there.
Right.
They have like like the X-ray booth that you have to go through if you don't have TSA approval. We have to put your hands over your head and it spins you around. They have something like that actually disinfects people.
Okay.
It's ultraviolet light or something that kills viruses and whatever. As long as it does not cause any other health issue.
Yeah.
Something like that I could understand would be far better than the temperature gauges. Because even then I wondered, and I haven't seen that, if somebody's coming in and they say, oh, this guy's got he's running 102 or whatever.
Yeah.
Is he get lost in the crowd? How do they find him? What do they do? Do they run up there and stop?
Yeah.
Yeah. You with the fever. Now, I went to the dentist a couple of weeks ago. It was funny. I went to the dentist, get my teeth cleaned. They said, okay, we're going to take your temperature. Great. Go ahead. And I wondered how accurate those things are because they use the one where they poke you in the forehead, Well, I came in at 97 Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Well, 98.6 is normal, and it was a hot day, and I kind of thought I might be a little bit elevated because it was warm. I'd been outside.
Sure.
And before I went in, but I thought, 97 seems a bit low. But well, also in the Philippines, they have huge shopping malls. I mean, big malls.
Right.
3-story malls that go on forever, and they have gun checks, almost like TSA, and bag checks for everybody going in the doors. Now, Manila is a big city. Right. There aren't very many that are as big as Manila in the U.S. You could probably say L.A. And New York. Right. I mean, and there are a lot of people going in and out, and they tend to manage it really well. Sure. Now, how good is the check? It's pretty cursory. They don't have any problems.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of, they haven't had a bomb go off in one. People haven't gone in there with guns. Right. And they will look through the bag. I mean, they're looking for big stuff. Yeah. So, again, I mean, a lot of times people think, oh, they couldn't do that here. It'd be too much of a hassle. Yeah. Not really.
I don't think so.
No, it's not really.
And it's going to become a must.
Yeah.
I think so. Now, I was waiting for complaints. That was the part I was waiting for, to see who's going to complain about what measures are being taken. You already said on the opposite side of it, it wasn't a complaint. It was the measures weren't being taken really in full effect. Yeah. But I did hear a complaint. It was a man on the street thing, which I wish they would never, ever do.
No, don't do that.
Stop talking to the man on the street.
You know what's even worse on the news is when they have people write in. And I don't care if you're going to say something that's clever or something good, fine. They can show it on the news. But just saying sending thoughts and prayers or whatever it is, go Knights or whatever. Oh, come on, think of something original at least. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I agree with that on social media too. Yeah. If you're going to disagree with an individual, calling them a pig.
Yeah, as we've been called. Help, yes. If we disagree with you, go ahead. But tell me why.
Yeah, tell me why.
You might change my mind. I'm open-minded.
Right. That's right. Yeah. So hand washing stations next to the tables.
Yeah.
I heard a gentleman on the street say it was in his way. And that was the only complaint. Yeah. Everybody else was very happy and ebullient, and they were thrilled that Las Vegas was open. as we all are. But one guy, it's in my way. And he's like, really? Well, choose another chair.
Go around it. It's in my way.
And I had to laugh. All the entertainers, of course, have to wear masks. Not on the stage, of course; those haven't started yet. But all the roving entertainers and so on and so forth. And I did have to laugh, John. Our alma mater, the Venetian.
Yeah.
Guess who's wearing masks? The gondoliers.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Are they still singing?
It did not say. I'm sure they'll try.
Yeah, because singing will project. Any type of you're getting particulate in the air.
Yeah.
From singing, I had heard that they've done that. I think probably because a lot of these early tests came out of these studies came out of Asia.
Yes.
Because of karaoke. Right, they're so popular. They're wondering, is this, so they test them. Because normally say, well, when do people sing? In the shower?
Yeah.
No, who sings out in public unless you need medical attention, right?
Yeah. And I saw in our newspaper, the Review Journal, I was heartened to see something, as I was when he was riding down the strip on his bike. The individual and he had a mask on. Yeah. The individual who saw the first dice go down the table at Caesars.
Wayne Newton?
Wayne Newton. Yes.
How is the Wayniac?
Seems fine.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
the thing is,
been
he's
rode
so
pretty
creepy.
hard.
He's kind of like Chara. You remember when I told you when you saw Charo from a distance, and you got up close? Holy Christ! All the surgery and this and that, and she's like the bionic woman. And Wayne Newton is the same way. I mean, those teeth he's got are made out of they're wood. They're really nice. Yeah. Yeah, he's old enough to have wooden teeth.
Well, not most of us aren't as well preserved as you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he's already had the formaldehyde injected.
Right.
I mean, you look at him, his skin's Jesus. It's come on, dude, and he's got to be what 70, 75?
I will look this up while you answer this
question. He's older than that.
I will look up Big Wayne.
I remember my sister liking Wayne Newton when he was just almost a teenager.
Right.
When he had his first albums out in the 60s.
Right.
She liked Wayne Newton.
Well, I looked this up for you.
And my sister's 74.
Okay. Well, I looked this up for you, John. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Tell me, as a veteran of Vegas, what is the first thing Vegas-related, entertainment-wise, that you will go to experience?
You mean even now? I mean now?
Gaming, food, shows, movies. Well, what is the first thing that you're looking forward to going out and doing?
I guess some of the shows, again, coming back.
Mm-hmm. He's 78, by the way.
78. Yeah, I figured he was older than my sister. So, yeah, he's 78. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong looking 65.
78.
He's 78 even.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah. But he kind of looks, again, it's all face putty. Maybe he gets the same face putty as the mayor.
So what are you going to do? What do you want to do? What's the first thing? Take your boy, go by yourself?
Well, you know what I will miss? Now and then I did go to the buffets.
Yes.
And I've been to pretty much every one. I like the one, still my favorite one is the M Resort, which is it on the Strip? No, I mean, it's on Las Vegas Boulevard.
It's a good buffet.
But it's a good buffet. I would like to go to that, but that's going to be a while, I think, before they open those. Yeah. There's a couple of shows. I mean, I thought, and now that they're not available, it makes me say, gee, I should have seen that when it was there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It was almost the same thing when Siegfried and Roy closed, because they closed. Remember when Roy was attacked by the tiger? He had a stroke, whatever. When the show closed down,
right?
It closed down like right now. There wasn't like a farewell tour. Right. They're going to close at the end of November, and this is April. I have seen other shows like that, like Phantom. Remember when it was at the Venetian and they announced that they were going to close? I went and I saw it before it did. But the irony for me was that the only time I saw Siegfried and Roy was in Japan.
Really?
Yeah, because what happened was they were at the Hacienda.
Okay.
And I was living in Japan.
Okay.
And then they left the Hacienda and they were going to go to the Mirage, and they were still building the Mirage. And they had pretty much about a year off. And they came to Tokyo. And they pitched a tent, kind of like you see Cirque du Soleil does around town, right? A pavilion type of thing. They did that in Tokyo, and they stayed in Tokyo for 11 months.
Wow.
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yes. And I saw them when they performed their show in Tokyo. And hey, 11 months.
Yeah.
There was a reason people. I mean, they're Siegfried and Roy.
Sure.
So it was spectacular.
With the complement of tigers.
They
and
had
lions?
all the they had
Really?
everything. Yes,
But that was
elephant and everything.
That was hard to get.
It was
that
a
was
great,
hard
yes.
to get their show over there. I bet.
Yes,
Wow.
and that's why they don't do it for 2 weeks. Right. So big time shows like that. David Copperfield's been in Japan, obviously not 11 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, and then I came here and they were still there. Oh, I'll go see them, mañana. Yeah. So how about you?
You know what? I enjoy, in fact, I think you and I should take a tour of them. I enjoy all
the strip clubs.
yes.
It's been a while since we've done that.
But I think,
how are they doing? How are they going to do the social distancing and the lap dance?
I don't know. We should go check it out.
Maybe it's got a virtual 3D goggles or something like that.
Yeah, little Sony VTs.
Yeah.
No, I think the exhibitions, like the Mob Museum.
Yes.
Which is open now.
Yeah. The library here isn't open yet, but
the one of them is. I got a note.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's,
I haven't gotten a notice.
Yeah, Enterprise. I think. I thought we got an email.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the exhibitions, like the Titanic and bodies and everything.
CSI.
I think they're CSI and Mob Museum. I can't say enough about the Mob Museum. If you guys need something to do and there's not enough when you come to Vegas, go to the Mob Museum. Show them some love. They are fantastic. But that kind of thing. You know, I've seen all the shows. They're great. I like them all.
I'm sick of the Cirque du Soleil shows. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they're really nice and everything, but I don't know. Las Vegas, they still need some. Yeah. They need a little cheese too.
Oh, sure.
And we missed the showgirls and the guys who used to come to the desk. I want to see the boobies. Remember?
Right.
And the top. Trying to explain to somebody what's the difference between the topless show. I actually had him ask me this, and it was a travel agent because that's a long ago. If the topless show, what meant that they opened the roof. Because it was hot there. And I thought, no, it's hot, all right.
Yeah.
But there's a different cause of heat.
Well, I'm hoping that all the little shows, are able to come back.
Yes.
And if people, when it's time for the shows, if people are looking around, if you want to see just this nonsensical bunch of really talented folks, go see Zombie Burlesque. It was great.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And all the
those are the shows. I mean, the day
Motown
shows,
revival, and they're so fun.
Yeah.
And people don't give shows. They're dying. And they were dying before the whole thing. So you go back out to the shows. Forget the food. Go see the shows.
You know, I want to see. I want to see Shin Lim, the magician, and Colin Cloud, the mentalist, at Mirage. They're doing a show at Mirage. So I'd really like to catch their show.
Now, Shin Lim recently, America's Got Talent.
Yes.
I saw him. On that. Yeah. I saw his, and he was also on Penn and Teller's. You Fooled Us.
Fool Us.
Yeah, Fooled Us.
Yeah.
He's quite amazing.
Yeah.
I love his presentation.
Yeah.
But go see the shows and have dinner afterwards. Don't go. The restaurants will be there. The shows may not.
Yeah, and the other nice thing is that when there's fewer people in the restaurant, you're not there. Yeah, I mean, there's so many restaurants, right? Yeah. You'll find one and you'll be able to enjoy it more. I mean, I don't like going. Yeah. One of the reasons I don't go that often is it's just too damn crowded.
But people have asked me, I've had family members ask me, I've had other people ask me that are out of state, that are planning to come to Vegas at some point very soon. And they always ask me the one simple question: are you wearing masks? Yes, we're wearing masks.
Yeah.
It's a courtesy.
Yeah.
Is it an absolute rule? No, of course not. It's not a rule. But when I go to Home Depot, when I go to Walmart, when I go to wherever, I wear a mask. Not because I'm concerned, not because I think, or not because I feel bad. It's as a courtesy.
Yeah.
So yes, we are wearing masks.
Yeah. If
gloves,
somebody
not
isn't,
so much.
It to me, it's a sign of belligerence.
Yeah.
If that's what it is. Now, I went in the bank the other day and I carried my mask in my hand. I even said to the teller, I said, I'm not wearing this because I feel a little self-conscious wearing a mask in a bank. Right. I mean, it's just something that it's just creepy. I don't know if they're going to tackle me coming in the door because there's nobody in the bank. So I had to go in there and it's just like, so just let them know. But hey, if other, they didn't have a sign on the door that said, wear a mask or mask okay or don't wear one. So. But I mean, it's that and just knowledge, because I didn't wear a mask until they said, no, it's been shown that it's not going to protect you, but it might protect you if you're infected and you're asymptomatic, which about 40% of the people are.
Right.
So I have not been tested. I don't think you've been tested. So we don't know.
We don't know.
Right?
And I've also heard the statement, which isn't necessarily specific to Vegas, but I think it's in Vegas importance, that we're all going to get it at some point. Do you believe that?
Well, I mean, if people don't do anything about it, if they're reckless, yeah, I can see where it's possible.
Well, I think we've all had influenza sometime in our life.
Yeah, it may be a different influenza virus, right? Of some form, but sure, everybody has.
Yeah.
And I mean, people like me tend to get it less. I only get it, even the flu, I only get about every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't go out that much.
Yeah.
So the chances of me being infected are pretty low because I'm not dealing with people very often, just right now, just once a week.
But your statement is probably the simplest way I could say it. Are we wearing masks? Yes.
Yes.
Be smart.
Yeah.
We want you to come back. Come to Vegas, have fun. It's open. Go to Dennys. Wear your mask.
And just be careful.
And be careful.
What you touch and...
Yeah. And bring your hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Utilize the stuff that's at the hotel and casino because they're required to have it.
Yeah.
And don't complain.
You know, they did a study some years ago. I remember it was disgusting. What they did was they went and they tested the handles of the carts in the supermarkets.
Oh, gosh.
And they found, I mean, besides the usual bacteria and also, but they found, on a large percentage of them, I'm talking 30, 40%, they found fecal matter.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, all right, wash your hands, goddammit. And now this will give you a reason. If nothing else, maybe there'll be less fecal matter. All the more reason, I carry those, I bring my own in the car, those Clorox sanitizer wipes, and I take one with me in the store.
Sure.
Because maybe they wipe down their handle, but I'm reaching for something else.
Yeah.
Or somebody else touched something. And maybe it transferred on that surface. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and again, you don't need to, like they've said with Clorox or with bleach, it's a bit overkill. Soap is the superhero and it will work because what it does is it basically makes the virus inactive. It makes it fall apart because of the wetting agent, for the same reason why when you have food stuck on a plate, you put soap on it and it comes right off. Gee, how did that happen?
Yeah, see, in my
It's
opinion...
a wetting agent.
Right? In my opinion, do the minimum.
Yeah.
If you want to do the maximum, nobody's going to have a problem with that.
Yeah.
If it's overkill, great.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do because it helps everybody.
Yeah.
But, well, John, it's good to see you.
Good seeing you too, Jamie.
If you like this episode, give us a like. Subscribe to us if you're not already. And we love comments. In fact, we're going to have another comments show coming up relatively soon. So please leave those comments below at Podbean or iTunes or wherever you want.
Good comments, bad comments. Just
good
don't call
comments,
us pigs or what else were we called?
Pigs.
Shit, I don't know.
Pigs. Pigs.
I was called a piece of shit. Somebody
piece of
called
shit.
Yes.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. You can call me that, but give me a reason why.
We love to argue, so argue with us. That's fine. But we hope you enjoyed everything. Please, everybody, come back to Vegas. Enjoy everything. We're here for you. And at minimum, take a drive, watch the fountains, and drive back home. But for John, this is Jamie, and we will see you next podcast.